Monday night. Welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company and the Escorts. That would be this group of people all around me. So some news. We just got finished doing D&D live, which went really well. I ran a few tables, had a few people that I had never met, and from all over the world. I actually had a person play at my table who this was their first time playing in English, and Alexander did a fantastic job. He banged up. Although he did realize early on that the mission called for a lot of diplomacy, and he is not the diplomat. But that's okay. Nevertheless, we persevered. So huge shout out to Baldman Games for having me involved in that. And coming up here next month, at the end of July, the beginning of August, it may be not there physically, folks, but Gen Con will go on virtually. I don't want to say too much, but just know there will be some gaming. That's all I'm going to say. With that in mind, I want to give a huge shout out to D&D Beyond, who is their continued support allows us to create characters and get all the new content, which if you haven't seen it, oh my God, I can cut glass with these bad boys right now. Rime of the Frost Maiden. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are going back to Icewind Dale, finally. One of my favorite locations in the Forgotten Realms, right beside Calimsham and Calimport specifically. So we are going to Icewind Dale. That means the 10 Towns, Bryn Shander, which is the main city in the 10 Towns, all the Spine of the World Mountain and the southern side, all of it. We're going back. And I'm excited. I've had a taste of it, a little taste of it from this weekend. And I don't want to give too much away, but oh boy, I am excited about this. We're going to start seeing mechanics that I don't think we've used thus far. A little bit in Chult where you dealt with the heat if you were wearing heavy armor and exhaustion, but now we're looking at the opposite end of things where you deal with, yeah, don't give me that look over there. I see you. How's that heavy armor working out for you? We're going to start seeing...
I love the heavy armor. I wish Chult had gotten better. Chult deserves so much better.
It does. So that's why we go back and homebrew the hell out of it. With that being said, pre-order for Rime of the Frost Maiden is available now. You can pre-order it. The alternate cover that they've been doing for all of them, the alternate covers have been a hit or miss with me. Me personally, there's some that I've loved. There's some that I'm like, When I saw Volo's Guide to Monsters and the Illithid on the front of it with all black and silver, I had to get that one. I got Ghost of Saltmarsh thanks to running some games in Indianapolis, and whenever it came time, I saw the alternate cover for Rime of the Frost Maiden. And wow, again, I'm looking at one of these books going, I really, really want that. Some other things that I want to talk about was how with the atmosphere of the world going on as it is, especially here in North America, specifically in the United States. Last week, we took some time to focus on some other folks, and I think that was fantastic that we should do that. It doesn't stop just because we're running a game now. Please support everybody out there, Black Lives Matter, and all of our Black content creators and everything else like that. They're fantastic. Wizards of the Coast dropped an article the other day that is really good, talking about the diversity within their own system and changes that they're looking to make in the future, specifically around
Orcs and Drow, I think.
Not only that, but also the Vistani. They've actually gone back, and reprints of the Vistani are going to be modified as well to take out some of the tropes that have been in place there. And I was really glad to see that. Curse of Strahd, it's no secret that amongst this group of people, I think Curse of Strahd is probably all of our favorite module. I know it is for me, and I know it is for Maddie. No, Eric shaking his head violently left and right. So what's your favorite module then?
You're muted.
Rose, I'm muted. Yep. Mine's it's a 4-parter that is sort of based in the Icewind Dale area. If I can remember
from the current modules, are you not Storm King's Thunder?
No, that's not it.
Okay.
1 second. Let me
ask you: Is it official release or is it something else?
It is official release.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dragon of Icespire Peak, Stormlord's Wrath, Sleeping Dragon's Wake, and Divine Contention.
Excellent. Are those from the? Those are. I know the Dragon of Icespire is from Essentials.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, then I will have to look at the other ones because I have not played them. I am playing.
It is a 4-part, basically thing that goes from 1 to 20 between 4 books, and it's one of my favorite ones that I've ever played.
Well, then we will have to look into that. But I am glad to see that they are changing some of the language that they're using. They're actually also incorporating sensitivity writers, I guess is the best way of saying that. But they're looking at how the language of this game and its evolvement. Give me just 1 second here, folks. Sorry, just want to make sure I did that. But they are taking into account some of the fact that the language in this game may not have changed in the last little bit. Some of it may be dated. And so I'm really glad to see that they're taking the steps. We will try to find that link, and for those of you who are in our Discord, we'll make sure to throw that somewhere you guys can see that. But yeah, it's a very short little bulletin point article, but it's really good to see them taking the steps forward like this to change that. They said going forward, the language that they found in Tomb of Annihilation and in Curse of Strahd is being updated to remove a lot of the insensitive writing and some of the things that may be problematic, is the way they said it. So it was good to see that. So again, thank you all for hanging in with us for the last week. We are resuming our normal schedule. So tonight we have the Escorts. Tomorrow, unless something else has come up with Jason, we should have Valley by Night, followed by Q. Are we still on for Monster of the Week this week? Awesome. I see the thumbs up. And then we have Maddie on Thursday with Descent into Avernus again, unless there's something that has come up with her. So those will all be running at the same time, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central. We look forward to seeing all of you there if you can. We appreciate it. And again, thank you for your continued support of our stream and all of our streams and Dire Bear in general. We really appreciate you guys. Spread the word, send the love, retweet. Make sure we have Facebook posts up if you would go ahead and share those as well. But we really do appreciate all you guys hanging in there. And now that I'm done prattling on, since I've said thanks to D&D Beyond and all of our other sponsors, if you want to catch me, I'm at Lucky Dice Cafe and at Liquor Express now. We have opened up both Friday and Saturday night, so I will be there if you want to come play with me live. Now let's do some catch up. When last we left off, they were exploring the Mysterious Isle, a temporary roadblock in the form of a sheer wall of volcanic rock led in their way, in their path. Some of them made it across uneventfully, others not so much so. A feather fall was used to help control descent. However, we found one of our players down in the ocean or close to it. Using some careful navigation of things. Just 1 second here. Using careful navigation, they were able to guide themselves over to a rock outcropping that they noticed had some stairs going up, some naturally formed and then some handmade stairs, finding themselves deep in the belly of a dwarven forge. The unique thing about this is that, well, dwarves haven't been seen with the exception of one, but to this group, dwarves haven't been seen in ages. Kiseshi was able to climb his way out of the dwarven underbelly into a staircase that led him back up to the surface after breaking it open. The party, not really sure, but using the abilities that they had, were able to communicate over the distance there. Whenever he made it to the surface, the rest of the party was waiting for him. Roderick, Jesse, Esther, Gordon, Kiseshi and Aurelius joined up with them once again. explaining what he had seen underneath and tied into this volcano. Giant forges that were long dormant. Doors that lead off into other locations, but he just kept a single path making his way out. They set off, traversing once again, descending the plain or descending through the jungle and the trees. They could see ahead of them large trees growing up above the tree line, even as it were, flats connecting with rope bridges, and they could see winged creatures. Small at this distance, but they could see winged creatures flying, landing on some of the bridges and taking off again. The wyvern riders that they had been tracking originally, it looks like they have found their, I would say, civilization. And that's where we're going to begin tonight's episode of The Escorts. You can see yourselves standing on the top edge of this, the rock and the precipice behind you, the trees going down in front of you along the slope of this hill. Ahead of you, the two large, or the very large trees, larger than the rest of the jungle around. Straight ahead, almost in an orderly fashion to the, let's see, you went northwest to get to the rock face, so it's almost in the same direction, the northwesterly facing direction. You've been soaked to the bone, and now you're back out in the heat, and you're still wearing your armor, if I am not mistaken, Kaseshi. I would love for you to give me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I mean, I would prefer not to, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
19.
19. Given your cold-blooded nature, the warmth actually kind of invigorates you a bit, and you find yourself shrugging off the oppressive cold, followed by the now slightly oppressive heat. You actually kind of bask in it a little bit, finding it to be exhilarating. The rest of you are wearing light enough clothing that the heat from the jungle and the island won't bother you too much. Who is leading point in this?
Well, Roderick is gonna get a bit closer so he can get a better look.
Okay. From your estimation, looking out over this, you're looking at probably 2.5 to 3 mile trek.
Okay.
What time of day is it?
It is. Go ahead.
Because I know we've been
That's true.
on the island for 3 sessions?
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a bit. Traveling in the manner you have, it is actually getting closer to dusk, but so the sun is hanging low in the western sky, but it has yet to sink behind the horizon yet.
Okay.
Your best guess is probably around 6 p.m. if we were using, standard times based on Earth. So, who is leading the way and what are you doing? Roderick, you said you wanted to get a closer look. How so?
Well, he is going to head in that direction for probably about a mile before start taking it a little bit more carefully.
Okay. Normally your travel would be about 2 miles an hour as a standard walk. So you would be able to make it. The problem that you have is you have a jungle ahead of you with dense, thick underbrush.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe you have a ranger amongst you.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I'm a multi-class.
That's right. I forgot you are playing a ranger. I'm used to you playing the other side of that thing. No, you're not. You're not playing a ranger.
I'm playing a rogue ranger.
You're playing a roganger.
Roganger. I like that. That's good.
All right. What is your favorite terrain?
Hold on, I have that.
Don't lie to me and say jungle.
Wasn't it forest?
It is forest. There actually is no jungle specified whenever you pick.
Yeah.
Well, then, I guess we'll say this counts as a forest, a rain forest. I'm watching you. I'm gonna throw your ass in the middle of the desert. Now figure it out, Ranger.
I'm just
All
gonna
right.
sink in the sand. It's fine.
Is this
As
where
an adult-
quicksand grows?
As an adult, I felt the threat of quicksand was greatly overplayed when I was a kid. All right.
Yep.
You can easily make your way through the jungle. Now, I would say that it would normally impede you, but rangers.
Yep.
So, you guys move at a pretty normal clip. You traverse about a mile. As you go inward towards the island or towards where their camp is, the jungle around you chokes out most of the sunlight. And of course, you lose your view of them as you are now looking into the canopy of the trees.
All right.
So you traverse for what you believe is about a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And
what I
your
know is a
passive
mile
perception's like
because
a
Outlander.
million, isn't it? Oh, that's right, you do.
Yeah. 22
Okay. 22 is your passive perception.
is my passive. Yeah.
Okay. Here and there, you see those runic carvings once again.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering last time you saw them as you were getting closer to the rock, the rock edifice.
Okay.
You saw a few of them on the tree. You see a few of them again here and there. They don't seem to be. They don't seem to have a pattern. How's that?
Okay.
But you do notice them here and there.
Okay.
All right. Now you're at that mark. What are you going to do from here? Try to climb up? Or are you just going to try to press on?
Nah, he's actually going to suggest that since pretty much everything is choked out, canopy-wise, it'd actually be a good spot to rest
Okay.
to get everybody's bearings back.
I've got a thing for this if we want to take a proper rest.
A thing?
A thing.
Is it going to be something that makes it very obvious where we are?
Depends.
On
I could make a small as far as towers go. Somewhere around here. It would be about 20 feet tall.
Some of the trees here are taller than that, so it would be like right about where the canopy is.
Or I can do the more traditional roughing it wizard, and I can create a dome for us that'll hide us.
that would be better considering how close we are.
I just wanted a damn bath. Making the
Actually,
tower next time.
I take that back. The tower would actually still be under the canopy of the trees. From what you're looking at, the canopy of the trees is probably about between 30 to 40 feet, depending on, like, it's not all, they're not all at the same level.
Should leave it up to the group.
What say you, group?
I can make two rooms. One of
Can make
them
a
can be an
bubble?
actual washroom.
I like the idea of an enormous mud bubble.
I'm sure you do.
Well, as long as it's not blatantly obvious where we are to anybody flying overhead, I don't care.
What's the circumference or the radius of the tower?
10 feet tall per floor, 2 floors standard. Area up to 100 feet square.
There might be your problem.
It can be up to. I can make it less than.
Right, but it's going to look a lot less like a tower and more like a needle, given the density of the forest around you. Unless you
Fair.
can curve it, like around the trees, and make some organic growth in there.
It doesn't say. Oh wait, tower can be round or square in shape, so it doesn't say it can be amorphous.
So you think that that's going to be your larger issue. That doesn't mean that it doesn't like force any of the trees down, but that kind of does defeat Roderick's question about making it obvious. If you're standing in these flats looking down and all of a sudden you see trees being pushed out of the way, it might give it away.
Well, bubble it is.
Everybody
Huzzah.
get into the hot steam bubble.
I know it's dry and
Oh, that's
comfortable
right.
inside.
That's right. It stays a comfortable temperature inside.
And she will just sit down and start casting ye olde bubble.
Ye old Leomund's tiny bubble.
Lemon's tiny bubble.
I refuse to call it a hut because it isn't actually a hut.
Yeah,
it's
it's a dome.
It's actually not even a bubble. It's a dome. Yeah, I was like, it's not even a bubble. It's a dome. Someone asked, could you cast it underwater?
Nope, it's a dome.
Well, I mean, if you were on the bottom of the water, if like you were
casting it below.
on the floor, and you can cast it around you.
That would probably end up being a rule of cool call.
Well, I would rule that it sounds pretty cool. All of a sudden, you just force it all the water's forced out around it. You have fish that are sitting there, and all of a sudden, they're just whoop. All right. So you set up Leomund's tiny hut. Given that you have, there's not really any call for watches, so I assume that there won't be any unless you just really want to get into the routine.
I only need 4 hours of sleep, so at some point he's up.
So you're just going to trance it out?
Yeah.
He's gonna cast alarm around the edge too, and have her cat just kind of sitting awkwardly, creepily at the edge of the dome, like on the inside.
Just staring like out.
Yeah, like how cats just stare at the ceiling. He's just gonna be doing that.
That creepy thing where they're staring at nothing in midair, and every time you walk into the kitchen, they look at you for a second, then they look back at the spot that they're staring at.
See that?
I call it
Almost there.
gargoyling.
Gargoyling?
Mhm.
Good grief.
Is that why they like you can't put anything else up on the rampart? That's why they're knocking all the stuff off.
Ooh, maybe that is.
That would
it.
make sense. That would make
Yeah.
big sense.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the density of the jungle, the only thing that sets off any kind of alarm or warning are small creatures, vermin, things like that, that seem to be slinking through the forest. You do watch as a rather thick vine seems to traverse itself through the trees, realizing that it's a snake looking for some sort of food. Because of the hut and your cat's distance, it doesn't really detect it. But it does pass over rather closely to the bubble. You can see as it trails itself through the tree branches. Eventually, dawn breaks on the far side, although it's blocked out mostly by the volcano that's on your right. However, the sky itself goes from being dark blues and blacks to that gray of morning. There are no clouds immediately overhead. However, through the canopy, you can barely make out some dark clouds on the distant horizon. And everybody gets a full rest.
Got it.
Lehman's floppy igloo does not sound good at all. Thank you. I do not like it.
Like it's a horrible visual.
Just a bit.
Isn't it though?
Mm.
You have to use one of those air mattress to inflate it.
So much for secrecy.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's when the wizard's ritual casting. It's actually just spending 10 minutes inflating the tiny hut.
Is it using one of the electric pumps, like, one of the solar powered pumps? You can plug it in. It just sucks air out.
Somebody get me a damn hair dryer and a
Oh,
Coke
it's one of
bottle.
the ones you have to pump with your foot.
Oh, there you go. Even better. All right. Since Roderick seems to be taking point on this, are you leading the way again?
Yeah, I'll do so.
Okay. Crossing over the 2-mile mark, you see from where you started yesterday, you can see start to see signs of more like footpath activity.
Mm-hmm.
Game trails or wider game trails than what you would normally see crisscross here. And About half a mile past that 2-mile mark, Outlander, you see constructed palisades that incorporate the trees and the natural environment around it. Sharpened logs lashed together to form barricades and walls to keep some of the ground creatures out of the home. It's well constructed. This is not something that has been haphazardly thrown together. Voices echo from over the wall, and you can hear the sound of people preparing for combat or training. There is no discernible door at the point with which you are at.
Okay. He is going to stalk the edge of the wall while keeping an ear out for anybody who might be on top of the wall by chance. Just in case.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check, please.
Hmm. 21.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing? Roderick seems to slink off in the underbrush, heading one way or the other. Which way did you want to go? From where you're at, you can say left or right, or east or west.
Left.
Or right.
Which side is the volcano on?
The volcano would be on your right, but it would be like right back behind you a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to head slowly towards that direction.
All right. Taking an easterly approach, you slink around the wall. What are the rest of you doing? We'll start with Kaseshi.
We haven't found a ladder going up yet, have we?
You have not.
Just the wall.
Only the palisades.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a little bit more time at it than Roderick does, just because of the heavy armor. But I'm going to start going in the opposite direction along the palisade walls, keeping an ear and an eye out for anybody who might be patrolling.
You said you're going in the opposite
direction? Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm going much slower in an effort to reduce the amount of noise that...
So are you actively trying to stealth, or are you just trying to take it slow and hoping that it'll...
Take it slow and hoping I'm not going to get caught while wearing this armor.
Oh, okay, so actively not trying to sneak, just taking it slow. Got you. All right. What about Aurelius?
How tall is the wall? Again, sorry?
From where you're at, you can see it's probably roughly 20 feet tall.
And the trees that are away from... Oh, no, the trees are built into it, aren't they?
It's built with the trees, so it would go palisade and tree. What you do notice about it, since you are a ranger, is any of the branches lower than 15 to 16 feet have been stripped off of these and actively kept trimmed so that they can't be climbed on.
You know I'm going to climb it anyway.
I mean,
I'm not kidding. But also, is it
I mean, if you want.
I will try just to see, just because I will climb it and try and keep it stealthy. But at the same time, is it fairly dark along the wall? Is it shady, I guess you could say?
No, the sunlight isn't blocked out from here, so
Okay.
it's not dim light. I mean, it's not full sunlight, but it's not what we consider dim or shady.
Okay, that's unfortunate. But I'll still
I should say it's as shady as climbing under a tree.
Yeah.
Or walking into a forest would be.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure how much the sun was I had heard it was dawn, but at the same time I'm I do so well in darkness. Gloomstalker. Gotta love that.
Like I said, I'm dumping you in the middle of the desert with nothing to hide in.
This way you just
I
get the
will
darkness
bury
spell.
myself. I
It's
I
the
have it
darkness
actually for free.
spell.
I do have it for free actually.
I know you
Um,
do.
Because you're playing a dark elf.
Yeah. Wait, actually no, I also get it because of Gloomstalker, I'm pretty sure.
It's a
Oh.
Gloomstalker spell.
Dun 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 dun. I just want to like jump up really quick and take a look. And if I feel like I'll give it a shot first. We'll see what happens.
What's your passive perception?
16.
Okay. As you start to kind of figure out how best to clamber up this tree, you notice something about the bark and you stop for a second. And then you realize that it's on the palisades as well, or on the walls as well.
Sticky, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
There are little colored barbs put at such an interval as to prevent anything from like climbing it. They're painted or colored the same as the tree trunk, so that they were almost imperceptible.
Can I like use a dagger and cut one out?
You can.
I will do that.
All right.
I will go ahead.
Now they're sticking out from it.
Yep.
And you can see that they're like you can take your dagger and like slice one off.
The tree
Okay.
explodes in spines.
I do a stick flip and land it.
It's a cactar.
It's a cactar. It's just all of you are covered in spines now. The whole party
How
just
many
turns
acrobatic
slowly
checks
and
do I
looks
have
at
to
you.
make? How many acrobatic checks do I have to make at this close of a distance to dodge every single needle?
I just want to watch the party just turn
10,000.
slowly and look at you as they're all covered in them.
Me just like
the rest of the party, and you're like, you should dodge. Yeah,
Y'all circus trained?
Unfortunately, they are not.
No,
You
they're military.
can cut a few of them away.
Okay.
You see that they're about the length of like say they're about the length of half of my pinky, so they're about that long.
Okay.
But they're very thin. They're thicker than like they're about the thickness of like say a porcupine needle.
Oh.
And as you cut it away, you can see a little substance that leaks out of the back end of it, and you get the idea that the barb is hollow.
Going to Jesse. I'm taking the needle.
What this?
There's a liquid. I don't know what it is. Might as well see what the rest of the party thinks of it. He'll ask probably mostly Esther and Jesse. Just because 2 other people have gone off, and I don't know what Gordon knows actively. So
Gordon tries to lick it.
Absolutely not. I will see if it burns.
let's wait. Let's wait.
Are you gonna rub it in an open wound?
Let's just hold off on checking if it burns.
This will be great.
Just standing back, going, no. Well, let's see what happens.
For science.
Lick it for science, Gordon, real quick.
Lick it for science, Gordon. I have a feeling if it were Mello, he would probably agree.
He wouldn't even think twice.
He would
Yeah,
already
Yeah,
be licking it.
he would. He would.
As
How
soon as
much
you hand it to him,
science?
he's already like, huh? Was that?
No, the thought is how much science.
His tongue is going numb. Doesn't know what's going on. No, I'm gonna. If
Guys,
Gordon
I
tries to
can't
grab
feel
him
my right arm. It tingles.
It's a hallucinogen.
Do I still have a neck? It like starts panicking about limbs missing, pieces of his body missing.
All right. So, what are you doing with the hollowed needle that you have cut out of this tree?
I am taking it to Esther and Jesse and seeing what they think about it. I ain't gonna
like.
touch
Is Gordon even like standing there, just looking like what you got?
Shouldn't have done that.
She just hands it to
How are your
Jesse.
hands?
You know more about.
You can give me a
those
nature
moves.
check if you'd like to, or I feel like we need some more skills, like an alchemy check or something along those lines.
Alchemist tools.
That is true if you have alchemist tools. Do you have alchemist tools on you, Jesse? Sticking your tongue out does not help you.
Because I'm looking.
Are you licking? Are you
alchemist
licking it as well?
Yeah.
You have alchemist
Alchemist
supplies. All right. Alchemist supplies will give you proficiency plus intelligence, so you could roll it like an Arcana if you had that. But I will allow you to do that. Intelligence plus proficiency using your alchemist supplies to try to determine what the nature of the substance is.
I want to bet on
9.
paralysis.
No, dirty 20.
Okay. Looking it over, you've seen something like this before. It is a neurotoxin developed by an animal. So it is actually an animal-based neurotoxin. It is not deadly enough in the dose that is within this needle to cause death, but it will cause a lot of pain.
Make you real stupid if you keep climbing.
You don't climb anymore.
So
You
can I
take
make
one
a
step.
can I make a really cool potion with this?
You don't have enough in that needle to really do that. If you gathered a bunch of them, you could.
Where did you find this?
Points to the tree.
Just go to the alchemist jug. Hey, make whatever this is.
On the tree, on the wall, on
Steve, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth, sir.
I was gonna climb the tree, but there was enough of these to take a momentary pause.
Can I go over to the tree and like try and carefully remove some and put some in like one of my spare like flask things?
Are you trying to gather enough to put in there? Let me ask you that question.
Yeah. How hard is it to take one off? Like, can I just pluck one off?
No, you're gonna have to actually like cut it away.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to like cut into the tree and around it, but you slide the blade behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I can help her. I'll help by cutting the quills, and she can just gather the liquid. Audible.
How long would it take to cut about 50?
It would go twice as fast if you help us.
I will absolutely help. And any extras you can put in my sling.
You realize the trunk of this tree is not really big around, but given the density of it, if you took a couple of swipes starting from the top to the bottom and the top to the bottom, and maybe one more top to bottom, you would probably gather around the number you're looking for.
So, in theory, since we're getting a lot of these, could I make some sort of potion
with the appropriate check? Absolutely.
That would like basically kill somebody.
With the appropriate check, possibly.
Yeah. Cool.
I like that murder is where your mind goes for this. Oh,
that could be really useful. We killed the Archmage last time just by making him drink the potion, or we put it in a drink. That was easy. We didn't have to do anything.
Shots, and murder.
Yeah.
It's just this surprise fun roulette. What if we took a bunch of needles? Is there a way that we could like make those needles into like a little needle bomb?
Mm-hmm.
just a question, just an out loud question.
DMs out there, have you ever thought this is a good idea for a deterrent and realize immediately upon playing that was a big mistake?
You've weaponized the team.
I've just weaponized the tree. Oh shit! I take it back. None of the needles come off. No. They instead shoot out of the tree and cover you in no. I mean, technically, yes. However, there's a lot that goes into it. You would have to really, I mean, you're talking about something that you can throw and has enough force to expel those out with any force. Otherwise, it's just going to be like...
I, myself, I'm not going to worry about it. I was just a question for the class.
But I mean, sure, you could.
No, I'll just help Jessie collect some of the needles so that she can have whatever she's making.
All right.
I just an idea, just to build off of that really quick. So I took enhanced weapon as one of my my whatchamacallits, my infusions. So I don't know if that would work with these needles. Like I'm like, yay! Yay.
Let me look at this spell. Let me just. No regrets. Weaponized party. Is that what we're doing? Weaponized party, right? No, augment. What was it called? Enhanced weapon.
Oh, this is one of my artificer infusions, and one of the ones I picked was enhanced weapon. And the magic weapon grants a 1 attack bonus made with it. The bonus increases to +2 when you reach level 10.
No, that's going to enhance an already existing weapon.
Ugh.
So, like, if you were able to craft the needle bomb, hashtag needle bomb, trademark, copyright, needle bomb, then yeah, you could enhance it so that it explodes with the fury of 1,000 storms released, or at least a +2. But no, not really what you're looking to do with that.
Okay.
My idea still seems valid. I have a sling, and that's augmenting it.
If you had a blowgun, you could.
I don't want to risk inhaling them.
You're the dumbass that would goes tube to mouth. No. We lose more hunters that way. It's deep breath, thin blow. Wait, never mind. Out of context.
Blow, don't suck.
So many entendre.
So, not even double, like triple, quadruple, septuple.
Quintupling your entendres.
Sounds like we're compiling something. So you are able to gather several of these. I would say close to the number you're looking at. It is It is painstaking work. I will get to you on that a little bit. You will have to actually this is going to take some time away from this. You're not making this while you're standing in the middle of the jungle. But it's actually this is actually in the DMG under like poisons and stuff like that. They have a list of them, so we'll go over what that is. But you are able to claim close to 50 of them. However, it is work that is not easy to do, and it is not quiet work either. There is no stealth and with that in mind, since the four of you, since at least 3 of you are working on this actively, I'll say, Esther, what are you doing while you're watching these guys play with needles?
She's going to take about 20 steps back, find somewhere to sit down, and
Castle Tiny Hut again.
Sit there, put the alarm around it. No.
Would you like a drink while you watch?
No, I'm good. Would she be able? Because this is my first wizard. Would she be able to take 10 minutes and change her familiar shape?
As long as you have the material for it, you absolutely can.
Okay. She would have probably brought like a spare or 2 of material. And she's probably been watching enough to see what kind of like native bird wildlife there is around. So she is going to change the cato into a native like bird.
Okay. How native do you want it to be?
Something that's been seen around the area they're in. Something on the island.
I will give you one of 3 choices, and they are only aesthetic. You can have either a blue macaw, a toucan, or I'll let you have a hornbill.
Let's go Hornbill.
Or a cassowary. No, I'm just kidding. Cassowary.
I have one at the zoo that I go to, and I love that thing.
They're so amazing looking and terrifying all at the same time.
Fucking
So you went with
Hornbill.
The hornbill? Awesome. Good choice. So yeah. Oh, you know what? I should have added Kookaburra in there as well.
That's the one that has like that totally just dopey face.
No, I know which one you're talking about. The frog looking face things.
Yeah.
You know what? Frog face bird. What is that called again? I forgot. Tawny frogmouth.
Yep. If she can change it into a tawny frogmouth.
Let's see. They're native and found throughout Australia, mainland, and Tasmania, which Tasmania is full of jungle and stuff like that. So you know what? I'll allow you to turn it into a tawny frogmouth.
Yep, just changing him into a tawny frogmouth, apologizing a little bit, and be like, no one will expect you, I'm sorry, just bear with me. And then just kind of has him go do a lap around the area to kind of get a bird's eye view and just kind of zones out.
Okay. Tawny frogmouth bird. I like it. So with that being said, it is making the rounds as it flies high enough that it can see over the trees. Are you using its eyes, or are you just waiting for it to report back?
1 second, I'm just double checking a spell thing. Dang it, I don't have it. I don't have that set. Okay.
If you guys will give me just 1 second, if you would. I'm probably going to lose connection here. But I will be right back. I just tried to reset my extender to see if I can get back on there. So give me just 1 second, okay?
Frogmouths, very dignified creatures.
Well, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
That's good. I'm waiting for my Zoom to close and reopen. Sorry, guys. There goes Zoom. Bye, Zoom. Hey, look at that. All right. We've got internet that works better than my hotspot. Woohoo. That's exciting. Okay. For those of you who went sneaking around the side, to the left. All right. And to the right. And then we have the bird flying around. Let's start with Roderick, who went right. Creeping along, you can see that there is actually a distinct space made between the forest and where the wall is. The canopy of the trees is such that if you were looking at it from a top view, like say the bird flying over the canopy, you wouldn't see a break in the canopy, but you can see that there's about 10 feet between where the forest stops and the wall starts. As you're moving along, the voices that were training trail off behind you, but you do hear other sounds up ahead of you. It sounds like just normal everyday city life, or people making trades and doing business and things like that. On the left, the training falls away behind you as you move. Again, you notice that distinct separation between the forest, and as you're walking, though, you hear another sound altogether. The sound of water over rocks. And as you walk down, you can see that there is indeed a river. Not a very wide thing, mind you. Probably only about 9 feet wide. But it is apparently deep enough to have fish because you catch a glint of them swimming in the water. It's not particularly swift moving on the surface, but you can definitely see that it is flowing as it flows through what appears to be underneath the wall and then disappears into the city. We're going to call it a city from now.
Was his passive perception? Okay, making sure I wasn't muted. Was his passive perception high enough to note the barbs on the wall and the trees?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay. And with his survival knowledge, would he have a decent idea of what those do? Potentially?
Give me a survival check. We'll see.
Survival check. Okie dokie.
I will be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. 17.
You get the idea that those are going to be something that is probably, if not deadly, at least extremely painful to deal with.
Okay.
So you definitely don't want to grab hold of them. They are there as a deterrent.
Mm-hmm. He's going to try to pop one off.
Okay.
And tilt it up to see if there's any liquid inside.
Okay. As you do, you can see that there is indeed.
Okay, does that look like it might be water soluble?
Give me just a straight intelligence check.
Okay. I mean, he is an alchemist.
Oh, you do have alchemy tools?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He is an alchemist and proficient.
Do you have the tools with you, though?
That is one of the things that I did buy, yes.
Then yes, you may use those, giving yourself proficiency plus your intelligence score.
Okay. Is that intelligence check?
Mm-hmm.
22.
Quite the opposite. As you drop water onto it, you can see that it becomes tacky and sticky, as though it were reacting with the water to become more potent. Well, not more potent, but spread. So the same reagent that we here on the players probably see, napalm doesn't wash off with water.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of the same thing. This does not look like water resolves the issue.
Okay. Right.
However, with your 22, you do see a different way of getting it off.
Oh?
Yeah. A dirt or dust bath.
Okay. Cool. He will take note of that.
And then throw himself in the tree.
No. He's going to actually pull out some bottles and start popping them off at random intervals around and pour the liquid in.
Okay. What did you have in those vials or bottles? Or are they just
Empty.
like they were empty? Okay. And so how much are you wanting to collect?
Enough to potentially poison the water supply.
Okay.
You said it's not a wide river.
It is not, but it does flow. But you are also on the other side of the river. You don't know the river's there. Remember, I was describing what you saw when you went right, and then when she saw when she went left.
Okay. I thought I found it.
Nope.
All
Left.
right,
The river is left. You hear the sound of like the city main or city proper area where you are.
Alrighty. Okay. So he's
I
going
mean,
to collect a
you're
bunch
not
of
a dumb man. I mean, you can still collect a bunch of it and go, they have to have a water supply. You just don't know how much you'll need.
Absolutely, yeah. He's going to... Seeing how it dispersed very quickly.
Whenever you brush the dirt over it or give it a dust bath?
Put it in the water. Did it spread out and disperse very quickly?
It does seem to spread, not like wildfire, but it does, it hangs on the surface of the water and spreads out.
Okay. Alrighty. So he's gonna collect, I'd say, 5 vials worth. And then pocket those and then let's see, has the wall been curved any at all? Since he got
slightly. As you're looking
Very
back
slightly.
over, you can see that it's moving around. I wouldn't say slightly, but it's not a steep gradient. But you can definitely tell that it's been curving around slightly as you've been moving.
Okay.
How many? Sorry, I'm just curious. How many of the quills did we need to fill one vial? The three of us were filling. Did you say like around 50?
Close to 50 of them.
So if he's filling 5 bottles, wouldn't that take a long time?
It would take a long, long time, and more than what's on the one tree. He would have to find another source of it.
Well, that's what said he's going along as he moves.
Okay. Again, you understand it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking not minutes, but like
And he's taking
Hours.
his
hour
time.
or hours.
And he is taking his time as he's scouting the perimeter of the wall.
You realize that your one of your allies has been missing for some time now.
Well, he died. I don't know what to say.
Oh damn! They just wrote him off. Oh well, that's how he dies. The jungle took him.
He
I
belongs.
will pour one out for him.
This is when I
Okay, that's
break a
enough.
character and I introduce him to you all.
This is the character we were working on in this part. This one is an ancient gold dragon.
Yep.
Aurelius walks away. No, I'm kidding. Oh my god. Oh.
He's a
Just
bitch.
fucking
Make you
walks
walk
into the
away.
ocean. I'm just gonna walk into the ocean wearing my heavy armor and just. I'm not gonna resurface.
But it's an ancient gold dragon disguised as a high elf.
Yep. A high elf eldritch knight.
With really good skin.
Absolutely good skin. I'd
Alright.
almost say he's a nice golden sheen.
So, as you are walking on the left-hand side, you come to the river. What are you doing?
I am actually going to be keeping an eye out if there are any snakes. Since we saw one over the hut during the night.
Give me a perception check.
Because
Or nature.
I have speak with animals. Or sorry, no, is it speak with animals or is it animal friendship? It's animal friendship, but it's only with snakes.
I'll let you choose, nature or perception.
Perception. I have a +4 in perception.
Alright, sounds good.
And I rolled a 7. Unbelievable.
So, a total of a 7?
Total of a 7.
Oh. Yeah, not in the immediate vicinity. You don't happen to notice any.
Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye out for it.
Reach out for your snake brain. What's your passive perception?
My passive perception's a 14.
Okay. That's right, because you said you had a +4 to it, derp. So, what are the rest of you doing? So, several minutes have passed several minutes, like close to 25 or 30. You guys have been collecting needles and extracting them into the vial. Neither of the other two party members have returned. When you get to the river, by the way,
How deep is it?
Kiseshi, it's at the middle point, probably about 8 feet deep. The banks on this thing, it's like drop off into the water and then back
Okay.
out again. And there is not a way that you can see to cross it. However, keep in mind that you can jump the length equal to your strength score. So
Yeah. The which way is the current flowing? Into the camp
it is
or out
flowing
of the
into
camp?
the camp. Into the camp.
And how wide is the palisade again?
You mean how thick is it?
Yeah.
You don't know without being able to see the other side. But at least 5 feet. Given the idea of how round the trunk or how wide the trunk is, thinking the trunk is mostly round, you can do the measurement there.
Okay. I'm going to very slowly start backtracking, and of course, still keeping my eye out for any snake friends.
Okay. As you make your way back, we're going to say a solid hour has passed. You have successfully filled one bottle, Eric. Roderick has filled one bottle.
I mean,
The rest
it's
of
what I
you,
said he was going to do. That's what he's going to do.
the rest of you have filled a couple of smaller vials using what you have. You can see now that Kaseshi is returning to the scene where you started from. Give me another perception check, and again, or nature if you'd like to choose. If you'd like to.
Stand a better chance with perception.
Mm-hmm.
11.
You see signs of a recent passage of a snake. When I say recent passage, probably last 10-15 minutes.
Oh, good. I'm gonna follow it.
Okay. It's actually leading, kind of bisecting the eastern path with that southeastern path that you guys kind of came from originally. Remember, you were traveling northwest, so that means back the way you came would be southeast. It's kind of bisecting that in a little bit. You can see as you're watching, kind of keeping the canopy in your eye line, you see a large, thick vine with dappled markings on it. It almost blends in with the dappling from the forest light as it falls onto it. It is an anaconda.
Ooh. Found myself an anaconda.
Something.
How
something
long is
fun.
this? Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. It is a young one, so it's right now about 5.5 feet.
Okay. It needs to give me a wisdom saving throw because I am casting animal friendship.
Okay.
Because that's a thing I can do. Unless an anaconda's intelligence is 4 or higher.
Oh no. Give me just 1 second here. Ah. Nope. Intelligence is what? Wisdom saving throw?
Yes, please. DC 16.
$14.
It is charmed by me for 24 hours.
All right. For the next 24 hours, you have an anaconda. All jokes aside.
All jokes aside, I am just trying to reiterate to myself what charmed is, because I know it's got like the wording on it's really specific. D&D Beyond is great.
It is indeed. And they're giving away a lot of free stuff right now for everybody. Campaign modules, adventures, things like that. So go and check them out.
So yeah, I now have an anaconda friend.
Mm-hmm. So the snake charmer walks back over to the group. Now, what are you guys doing? You've collected yourselves with the exception of one individual who's wandering around.
Honestly,
He's
I'm not
fine.
worried about Roderick. Aurelius
that
is just like,
nobody's-
he's a big guy. He can take care of himself,
I
honestly.
love that nobody's concerned about Roderick. Is Roderick
I-
concerned about Roderick?
Roderick is concerned about everybody else besides Roderick. Like
Roderick's
whoever
going to take
comes-
on this entire city and then wait for you guys sitting on a pile of corpses.
Honestly, do I still have my telepathy? No, it's been well over an hour. I would have
It's
done
been
that
a long
before.
rest.
That's true. I'm
It's been a long
full.
rest.
It's been well over an hour.
Let's
Zero
say
brain.
unless
I would
Aurelius
say-
got him as he was leaving.
I, to be honest, I completely forgot that I had it. I would have, but I'm not gonna do it now and say that I did. Oh, it's
There
fine.
you go. All right, so Roderick, if you're moving ahead, then staying on the same kind of trajectory that you were on ahead of you, you can see what appears to be a couple of humanoid figures standing on either side of what you can only assume to be a gate.
Okay.
They are leaning on spears. The spears have an interesting look to them. They're slightly longer than a standard spear, and you can see that they have the head of them isn't shaped like, the diamond shape. It's comes down and there's a round, almost like a leaf. On the side of it, you can see that there is a metal hook. So round and then a metal hook that comes on the side of it that's like affixed to the side of it.
Right. You said there's how many?
2.
2. Alrighty. Well, he's gonna stop and observe them for a bit.
All right. You're just watching them?
Yeah, basically see what they do. If
Give
there's
me a
any
perception
patrol.
check.
Alrighty. He will actually use his shifting feature
Okay.
to give himself advantage. Mm. $22.
They seem to be very diligent in what they're doing. As you're watching them quietly, you see making their way through a clearly discernible path. 4 more figures. They carry weapons on them, but it's sort of your standard affair. However, you do notice that none of it is very overly complicated. So there's no long swords or things like that. They seem to be carrying makeshift weapons made of stone or hardened crystal and things like that. Bows and arrows. Pardon me. Bows and arrows slung over their shoulders. Seem to be made from like a simple design. Not recurved, they're just standard bow. They come to the gate. They stop for a moment. There are some words exchanged, and then you see one of the humanoids signals up above him, and then you watch as you can hear the gate being opened, and the 4 people move in. Muted.
Is any language he can recognize?
It's familiar with the dialect that you've been hearing, but you don't know the language itself.
Okay.
What languages are you versed in again?
Common and giant.
Much like before, when you saw those runes that had kind of like a telltale thing to it,
Mm-hmm.
it may be your imagination, but you think you hear some like bits of giant in there.
Okay.
Kind of like how America bastardizes words, but then treats them in the wrong manner.
So how everybody does language.
True, but we're notorious. English is notorious for it.
Okay, were they wearing? So they were just wearing like standard gear, basically.
It looked like it. The armor that they wore looked a bit similar to what you kind of encountered. Was it the day before? Yeah, the day before.
Okay, so like leathers, basically things you'd be able to.
Yeah, made with that hide with those plates made from something else.
Okay. Be checking equipment. Oh, I do have this. Okay.
Just as a side note, Jesse, did you take any damage? Check your D&D Beyond. It looks like you're still
I
showing
have
damage.
taken no damage.
Jesse.
What?
I have 87 of 87.
Check your D&D Beyond character. Yeah.
Check my D&D Beyond?
Hits a long rest.
Check your D&D Beyond HP because it's showing 32 of 50 on the plugin. Oh, yeah. Hit
I
your long rest
refreshed
button.
it. I just took a long rest not that long ago. Let me just refresh my page.
Okay.
Mine says full health.
Okay. Might be me then.
Sometimes the overlay is a little bit
A little bit behind
late on
different
things,
individuals.
Okay.
Sometimes you even have to refresh like the stream for it.
Yeah,
to
I just
fix
went ahead and
itself.
refreshed the page to see if maybe that would fix it there.
Yep. Everyone's full health. Roderick still has the plus 11 temp
Yeah,
health.
it's showing. Yeah, it's showing there now. All right, so
Well, I have the plus 11 temp because I just shifted. But
Oh, okay. Sorry.
yeah.
You with that big con score giving you 113 HP.
Yeah.
All right, so you can see that they moved in and then the gates closed. The two humanoid figures seem to be standing diligently watching.
Okay. Right. He's gonna start slowly heading back. Said that the top of the walls were spiked.
Yeah, so they've been sharpened and then they're interlinked like this.
Okay.
So
He's gonna find a tree further back, like away from what he presumes to be paths or patrols.
Mhm.
He's gonna take more time to pick off a lot of the needles on this one in particular.
they're only on the ones that are built into the wall.
They're built into the wall. Okay,
Mhm.
so never mind then. He's gonna go to one of the trees, climber's claws, basically, just up the tree.
Okay. To one of the trees that are out away from everything.
Yeah, so he can see if he can't get a little bit of a view.
Okay. Yeah, as you climb up, the branches here haven't been stripped out, so you can climb easily. You are going to have to give me an athletics check because it is still an athletic activity.
Yeah. Okay, 17.
Okay, yeah, you easily make it to the top. As you do so, you can look over the wall and you see the lower floor, or I should say, the jungle floor is encompassed by this, and you can see what appears to be barracks, but they aren't enclosed. There's a roof over them to stop any rain from getting in, but the walls aren't there. But you can see rows of cots and bunks, and you also see just outside of there men training, or I should say people training. To the right of that, closer to where the gate is, you see several multi-layered units that again have kind of the same thing where the walls aren't theirs per se. And you can see that they look like shops. Different things being sold on different levels. Maybe it's different qualities or whatever. But you can see that shop, and it's probably about maybe 20 yards from where the barracks are.
Mm.
Further on around, you can see what appears to be some sort of butcher or grocer as they are cleaning up. They're currently cleaning off a stone slab that they've got there, wiping it down with something. Once he wipes it down with something, you can see he takes a bag out and sprinkles just a light dusting of some sort of white powder over the top of the stone slab, and then rubs that in there again, and then wipes all of that off. And so it looks like he's either seasoning the slab or he's preparing it or something like that. As you watch, he seems to pull up some animal that you're not familiar with. It's no longer has its fur. It's been skinned and cleaned, and he lays it down and prepares it like you would see a butcher. Beyond that, again, in this big circle, you can see large stoves set up. They look like big kiln ovens. They are so big. They are being manned by several people working them. Their tops off because of the heat, try to keep themselves cool. They have their skin is tanned by the heat and by the sun above them. Both men and women, and they're working these ovens, and they're pulling in great feasts or great amounts of food in and out. How long do you want to stay up here and watch? Muted.
Long enough to get a decent layout.
Okay.
Basically,
So-
create a mental map of the area and where
Sure.
things are laid out.
So the ground floor appears to be both a market and like barracks and training area, as well as some sort of mess kitchen or some sort of eating area. You can see large rope strung ladders that have been set up by having giant pegs driven into the trunk of the tree and forming a ladder that goes all the way up around the trunk of the tree until you can see above you the first layer of flats. And then you can see that they are strung with rope bridges in between them. As you're looking up, you can see a leather-winged creature flapping, very familiar to you as it's a wyvern, flapping out of view as it lands on one of the flats. You see an amazing creation of pulley systems that seem to go between the lower and the upper. As you watch, large ropes with pulleys are being moved to move baskets that hold people and goods from one level to the next. This does not seem to be a primitive organization at all. It seems like they're utilizing what they have around them to make the most of the life that they have.
Okay. Any kind of potential hint at the populace? Like, the population, sorry, of the place.
From what you're looking at, you're probably looking at about all said and done, men, women, and children, probably about 100 and upwards of 130 people.
Okay.
130 bodies, let's say that.
Bodies, right. And all of the, or a large portion of the men are training in the yard. Or the yard right
Yes, correct. You
Okay.
see I wouldn't say a large, but you do see a sizable number of people training. And again, it is not relegated to just men. It seems to be of all breeds, or all breeds, all sexes in there.
Terminology.
You know what I meant.
Yeah. And you knew what I meant. Alrighty. He's going to make note of that, pull out a notebook, jot all this down, basically make a layout, fold it back up, and then he'll climb back down and sneak his way back to the group.
All right. By the time you return, the better part of almost 2.5 hours has passed. Worried about you, I'm sure. The party you see Roderick coming around the corner. He has a couple of jars that aren't full of this material, but they seem to be, about half full or so. The other half filled with water, and he shakes them and throws them to somebody. That would be horrible. So, the party's now reunited. The sun is now getting closer to, or I should say, it's at a higher point by your estimate. Probably close to 10 o'clock. No, actually, you traveled.
It's probably closer to noon.
It's probably closer to noon, yep.
Yeah, he'll share all that he saw and pull out his notebook with the layout of the town and all that.
Okay. One thing of mention that he did not see, Kaseshi, that you saw, is a body of water.
Did that water run through the town?
It did.
How large is this body of water?
About 8 feet wide. It was the river that you saw. He didn't see the river running through there. Roderick, you're a pretty smart guy. Give me an intelligence roll.
Okay. Anything to it, or just straight intelligence?
I'll let you use investigation if you have it.
I do.
Sure.
$26.
Looking at the size that you walked compared to the size that she walked and then the river and things like that, you think that maybe the bottom section is walled off into different quadrants or sections.
Okay.
And being the tactician you are, you can think that something like that would be done for defensive purposes.
Mm-hmm. And he will relay that.
Excellent. As you guys mull this over and this information, the direction with which this is taking and what you're going to do about all this, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. We're going to refresh our waters, get up, stretch our legs, go to the bathroom. We hope that you all will stay with us when we come back. Again, to give us about 10 minutes. And we'll be right back with the last half of the show. Please spread the word. Let's go ahead and get another Twitter post out that we're still going strong. Please retweet at DireBearAC if you're not following us already. And we will see you all again shortly. Thank you so much for all of your support and your continued watch of Dire Bear Adventuring Company, The Escorts.
Feel my heart, it's beating. On my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beating. On my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it. It's time to quit while we're ahead. Don't think like that. I will love you endlessly. If you don't believe, don't you be like that. I will love you forever. If you don't believe in me, yeah.
You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around, but you could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
you could be around for
You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. Here with me. I said, don't you think like that. I will love you endlessly. If you only believe me, don't you think like that. I will love you endlessly. If you only believe in me,
You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
you could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around, but you could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
you could be around for
You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
When the silence is too loud, I swear I can hear a voice. Left a message in the clouds. They are free to roam above the sea, and their story stays with me like a haunting melody. What do spirits say? What do spirits say in a darker day? What do spirits say? When the mist is all gone, there's something inside the water. Don't know where they're coming from. They are free to roam above the sea, story stays with me like a haunting melody. What do spirits say? What do spirits say in the darkest days? What do spirits say?
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to refill our drinks. Well, my big ass glass of water, as it were. Stay hydrated, folks. All right. So,
Did the bird see anything?
the bird. You did have a bird flying around. Thank you. The bird reports back that it saw a bunch of, no, not a bunch. It saw people moving around on the flats and that they were on wyverns, and the wyverns would land and they would jump off of the back of the wyvern and then move about. And it looked like people living a life inside of a city.
She'd use what she could to kind of sketch out a map in the dirt from what the bird reported back.
Okay. From what the bird reported back to what you have seen yourself there, Mr. Roderick, there's a bit of a discrepancy. There is a much larger area that the bird has covered than what you saw in yours, giving credence to your thought about it being walled off into different sections within the main wall. Yeah, like a jungle Neverwinter, if you will. So that is what the bird has seen. Bird also conveyed to you that they seem to be using all sorts of manner of transportation between different levels. But yeah. You've gathered a bunch of information. What are you doing with all of this info? Direct assault, 6 of you versus 130.
I like those odds.
We can take them.
This just feels like a town living in a jungle.
Yep.
I saw one before. What are the chances of this is just not being a larger version of one? Maybe the barbs are so that the hobgoblins or whatever. I know they're hobgoblins. The big, ugly goblins, to not get in. I mean, so far it's only looked like a defense. Should we try knocking? See if they'll let us in?
I did say that we should consider diplomacy. That we apologize for intruding on their airspace, and if they would grant us safe passage back, then we shan't stop again. Make allies instead of enemies.
He didn't speak their language on the boat. Does us being on the island give us any greater ability to speak their language?
I'll be honest with you, Esther, I wasn't really considering or attempting to talk to them when they were trying to blast our boat out of the air.
Saying we couldn't
Well,
communicate with
it
them there. We can't communicate with them here.
seems like they speak the same odd dialect of common that we found in the hobgoblins anyway.
And do you speak it? Are we going to interpretive dance our intentions to them?
Oh, I like that. Yes, please do.
Oh, I worked with the other fellow. He took my alcohol and ran. I think that we got through with something.
That is a universal language.
Speaking of which, where is he? Because he's still marked by the brand, because I haven't willed it away.
Didn't he die?
We let him run.
You did let him run. That is correct.
He was just really drunk. The last time we saw anything or heard anything, he was going towards the cliff.
It does say specifically your brand lasts until you dismiss it or you
What's the
apply
range
a
on it?
brand to another creature. There is no range.
Same plane.
Mm-hmm. You always know the direction of the branded creature. Yeah, you always know the direction, basically.
Okay, so you know the direction, but not the location.
Yeah, I always know which direction he's at.
He is in the almost north of you, like just a few degrees off of north of you.
Hmm. And we've been
As in-
heading. Were we heading north to get here? Okay. Interesting.
He's through the walls and going north.
Hmm. Okay.
Should we just introduce them all to alcohol?
That no.
I feel like that is a bad idea.
Why?
I disagree. I think it's a fantastic idea. What happened to the diplomacy? We got the entire town just stinking drunk.
Do we have enough
implore
alcohol
you
to
tell
do
me why
that?
that's wrong.
We have the alchemy jug.
Right.
It does have a finite amount that it can pour out.
Everybody can still get a swig. Almost everybody really wants mayonnaise.
I'm not in the jungle heat. That's gonna go well.
Oh,
Just give everybody salmonella.
They,
One way to wipe them out.
I mean,
Anybody got any blankets?
theory stands that if they're communicating with the wyvern, there might be some form of draconic being spoken.
Now, again, I will report that there were hints or familiar words from Giant in there. Real quickly, just to make sure and refresh my brain, because I don't know that any of you spoke the language that you saw on the tree. You did.
Giant.
Yeah.
Right. It had hints of Giant. Same thing.
Yeah.
No one spoke the actual language there.
Correct. But just to make sure that I am not wrong, Kaseshi languages?
Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Infernal, and Orc.
Common, Draconic, and what was the other one?
Infernal and Orc.
Infernal. Thanks. Sorry. Esther?
Common, Draconic, Giant, Undercommon.
Okay. Common, Draconic, Giant, Undercommon. Sorry, my connection is starting to break up a little bit, so I apologize. Okay, what about Aurelius?
I have like 3 languages. Common, Elvish, Orc, and I know Thieves can't.
Okay. Gordon?
common, gnomish, and undercommon.
It does share a little bit with Gnomish. Roderick?
Common and giant.
Okay. We've already covered that part with Giant. And last but not least, Jesse.
Common, halfling, not goblin. Gnomish, and alcohol. The universal language.
Interpretive dance.
Oh, I probably could if I had enough.
Alcohol, the universal language. Okay, yep. The dialect that you've been hearing, while it does share some like passing with giant and gnomish, none of you speak it. I will assure you, it is a language spoken that can be found in the player's handbook.
Is it Dwarven? Hmm.
If you come across it, you might know it. But for now, so you're standing outside the palisades, trying to determine which route you want to take. What are you going to do? Are you going to introduce yourselves?
Good
We
question.
were your new neighbors. We're just coming by with some cookies. Quick answer. Sorry.
Message cantrip. You have to share a common language. It doesn't say. It just says they can reply in a whisper.
I think. Let's get an answer to that real quick.
The only way I'm going to be helpful in this is possibly disguise self, and even then, I don't know if that'll be helpful. Just to look like them, that's all. Maybe they'll let me in. Please don't take that to heart. I don't want to do that.
It actually doesn't say.
Yeah, because I know I can't remember which spell, but it says you don't have to share a common language.
I think that one's sending.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's the mental link.
Ah! I may have something that'll help us here.
Go.
My psychic whispers. The last line of the feature, you and the creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other.
Congratulations, you're our new ambassador.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Here's an interesting thing. For those of you who are out there watching Critical Role, and everybody's a fan of it, and we all know that not the goblin uses message. You can respond to this message. Early on, it said that, hey, this has to be 25 words or less. Message doesn't have that requirement.
Yeah, it's sending, which is 25 or less.
Yes, it is sending that as 25 or less. The thing about message is it's just limited to a short distance. But
We can't all be Jester and just crazy bomb people from continents away with psychic messages.
I mean, if I could.
I'm going to say that in order for message to be understood, because it doesn't say otherwise, that they have to share a language with you.
Fair enough,
More-
it's cantrip.
Yeah, and more importantly, it's if you are familiar with the target and know it is beyond the barrier. So your familiarity with the target would be key here. Anyways, there we go. That's my ruling on the field. But yes, your psychic whispers, unless there's some caveat that says you gotta know them, you could enter the minds of at least 3 of these people and be like, "I'm your god now."
Hey, what's up? It's me, God.
Hey guys, doing a great job holding it down out there. It's
I'm
me.
real proud.
Hello, God. It's me again, Margaret.
That's a callback.
It's me. Yeah, boy.
Is that a really dark beer, or are you drinking soda out of that
I'm
big ass
drinking
Pilsner
soda.
glass?
I'm drinking soda out of a Pilsner glass.
Out of that big ass Pilsner glass.
It
a
was
little
the
bit of
only
pride in that.
clean glass I had in my cupboards at the moment,
It's just
and
like-
I needed ice because we just put the case of Pepsi in the fridge so it's not cold.
I thought you were just killing that stout. I mean, you poured that down like nobody's business.
I don't really like beer,
This
so
damn game.
Yeah. I got your common language right here. All right. So yes, you can like crazy message in their minds, but I mean, what are you guys doing? Standing out here in the hot sun. Speaking of, give me a con save, please, there, Kaseshi.
no.
Hey, at least I'm not asking for sanity checks to watch people slowly go out of their minds.
I mean, I don't know if
Well,
I'd like that better or worse right now.
Were we supposed to roll sanity up on these characters?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, actually, sorry, I realized my psychic dice is back to a d6, so I could do between 1 and 6 unless I roll really badly.
That's an 11 total.
Okay. The laboring back and forth, and everything has sort of made you uncomfortable, and you realize that the heat of the day is not your friend right now. You do suffer one level of exhaustion.
Fuck.
All right.
Hmm.
And decision may get the better of you.
Can we try diplomacy first before we try and take on an entire village of 139 people?
I mean, some of them are children.
And
So, do they
Round
count
thing.
as halves?
Not the conversation we should be having.
This was she was
All right.
rounding up to 139. She said,
I mean,
depending on the age, they count as
I will
quarters
say-
and halves.
well, I mean, Roger
Listen,
would pop up with-
Anakin.
and see, Roger would pop up with, well, I assume that's why our fearless leader was rounding.
No, I.
Anakin Snake Walker.
Wait, who gets to say hello there the most often?
You.
Yes! I'll take it. You know what? It's the closest I'm ever gonna get. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll take it. I will try.
General Kenobi. All right. You're going to try to do what?
I will do connections with them.
Do you have to see them, know them, anything else like that?
I have to see them.
Okay.
So the thing is I need to get in there. Unless somebody can throw me up like
Are there not guards out front of the gate?
There are.
So let's walk to the gate and
Yes.
try this extremely fantastic plan.
I see nothing going wrong here. Everything is going to win.
I'm
If
probably
you have
the worst
another suggestion, Esther, instead of the passive aggressive sarcastic reply, I would be all ears to hear it.
My
I'd like
suggestion
to
was to stay on the boat and just keep going, but we didn't listen to it, so lead on.
I mean, they left us. We could have kept going. She is right. I will try talking with them. I am not the most diplomatic. I tend to kill first, ask questions later. So,
I can see you
Yeah,
asking them a question. They just look at you sideways. You go, nope, that didn't work. And just start stabbing people.
all right. Well, I did my best, guys.
His head nod was aggressive.
He moved his hand just slightly to the left by like 0.1
He
millimeter.
It looks like fireball.
You shoot him with an arrow and be like, put the gun down, sir. Put the gun down. He's dead. He's dead, Aurelius. I don't care. He can still move. Put the gun down.
He's twitching because my axe is in his skull.
Let's go to the gate.
All right. Well,
Fine.
How many guards are outside? 2?
2.
Let's hope I don't roll a 1. Please. Grimly, don't let me down. Oh, I rolled a 5.
Okay. Are you stealthing?
Yes.
I mean, the good news is
Roderick is.
you can't double disadvantage.
True.
I can
You-
give you extra points in your roll, though.
I have
I
a
mean-
plus 13 in stealth.
No. I'm not talking about any of you. I'm looking dead on at Kaseshi,
Oh,
who's wearing heavy armor, which gives her gives him disadvantage.
okay.
Her.
Her disadvantage, and then also 1 level of exhaustion.
I have an idea.
Double disadvantage.
I can connect with so many people. I can connect with a couple of us from the group. I can connect with the 2 guards. And I can go close enough to at least to the point that I can see them, so I can at least talk with them. And perhaps you guys could feed me questions to ask them.
I can handle that.
That seems far too reasonable.
That
Then I
diplomacy
won't.
is
Okay,
my
Gordon,
strong.
off the list. Got it. Tears the paper
Just
off.
diplomacy tends to be my strong suit anyway.
Well, I rolled a 5, so I can connect with the 2 guards and then 3 people from the group. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to be Esther, Roderick, and Kiseshi.
Mm.
I'm sorry, Jesse.
It's like the frowny face on Jesse and Gordon.
It's never me. Never me.
Well,
I
you're the
mean,
one
I
always
promise
trying to
you
get
will get it
everyone
next
high.
Or
I will.
drunk.
No, I promise I'll give it. I'll link with you telepathically next time.
Get a room
Honestly,
first.
if you wanted to link with one of them, and then we can just pass the questions back through, it'd be like a
You
weird
can only
game
pass
of
them to me, and I'd have to pass it to them.
yes, but we
Oh.
can use the amazing thing called speaking.
True. That yeah. Let me go link with them. I will go. I will hide.
Jesse.
Okay, yeah, I will go link with these 2 guards. I will stealth to go link with them, and then return to the party because I don't need to see them after that.
So you're sneaking forward enough to where you can
If I can
see
stay in
them.
like some sort of tree line or anything like that, yeah,
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
that I can do.
You have a plus 13, so I mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I rolled a 14 on the dice. I will connect with them and I will come back out. I will. I guess
as
I
you
start.
get closer to the gate, creeping forward within the tree line, you can see that there are 4 individuals standing there.
Huh.
They appear to be having a conversation. One of them says something, waves to the trees, and then the other 3 laugh. And then they kind of clap each other on the shoulder. And you watch as the one that said something and the one to his right stay behind, the other 2 go inside the gate.
I'd like to connect with all of them.
Okay.
I have the extra numbers for it. I'm gonna go back to the group anyway to talk with them like that.
And
Where's
what's the range on that? Like a million miles?
A singular mile.
So 200 million miles. Got it. They're on the moon and you're communicating with them.
Hey, what's up, my moon people?
What's up, my moon mothers?
What's up, my moon bros?
All right. So you are connected to all 4 of them.
Perfect. 2 are in. I'm
They
gonna
have
get.
to actively open the link to you. It's not just idle conversations. You're not picking up what they're saying. They have to actively speak with you.
Let me.
I mean, it's not like it's an open communication radio. It's not like they're just walking
Yeah.
around with the mic open.
Where did I read it? Hold on. It's an action you give yourself and at least one other creature the ability to speak telepathically with each other. rolled my psionic dice. I rolled a 5. For 1 hour, the chosen creatures can speak telepathically with you, and you can speak telepathically with them. To send or receive a message, no action required. You and the creature must be within a mile. The creature can't use this telepathy if it can't speak any languages. And a creature can end the telepathic connection at any time. No action required. You and the creature don't need to speak a common language to understand each other. We'll see
Okay.
how
So I'm just going to lay this out there for everybody to understand. You just created a link with 4 people,
Yeah, I'm gonna get bombarded.
and they can end it at any time that they want.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping one of them has their curiosities about them because hopefully maybe this has never happened to them before.
Oh, it's a Tuesday. All right, so
What was that noise?
you're linked. What are you doing?
Um I'll kind of do it one at a time just so I don't open it to all of them and they all don't bombard me at the same time.
Okay.
Just like one at a time, starting with one of the ones.
1 and 2 are at the gate. 3 and 4 have moved into the city.
Okay. I'll start with 4 and move my way back and just kind of say hello.
Okay. You reach out into the brain of this individual using your link, and they go, "Hello."
There's okay. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry for the intrusion.
Hello.
We're doing great thing. Please hold. No. You can't see me if that's what you're trying to do.
Where are you? Who are you?
You can call me Vren. Your name?
Alak.
Do you live here, Alec?
Don't you?
Of course.
I live here.
I live here. Yep. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I just saw the cat on Steve's.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. It's like all of a sudden, cat. Of course, I live here.
How long have you been here? I'm like, I'll be walking back to the group as I'm speaking with Alec.
27 summers.
All right.
Well, 27 seasons.
Seasons, yeah. The group would see Aurelius like coming back, like just like waving his hands, like I have no idea what to say to this man. What do we ask? Are we asking for safe passage? Like,
Give me the phone. Let me talk to them.
Grab Aurelius's hand like this.
Hello.
I'll like pause the conversation for a second to let like it's still Alec can still talk with me if he wants. But I'm speaking out loud to the party. I've connected with 4 who are inside, 2 are at the gate. I'm talking with Alec right now.
Ask if there's somebody who would be willing to deal with a treaty that would allow us passage past their island.
Can we speak to a manager?
Get out. You get out.
I saw 3 people do the same exact thing and it really happy.
Well, to begin with, what have you said to them up to this point?
What is their name? How old are they? Have they always lived here? They asked if I lived here, and I said yes.
So your
You
answer,
know,
your
like a
question,
liar.
Kaseshi, would mean nothing then, because they would sift that out immediately.
Listen, the psychic link can be cut off at any time that anybody wants.
Hmm.
I'm at least trying to say things that are going to keep him talking. We've got 4 chances at this.
For now. Well, I believe this was a small, relatively, operation of bandits. This is an entire city.
With children and people that weren't even involved in this.
Probably.
I mean, either way, I'd be fine with poisoning the entire water supply with the poison on their walls. I have the tools and means to do it, plus oil and alchemist fire to burn it down if I need to.
Oh,
But
yes. Okay, very efficient.
What alignment is your character again? Jesus, man.
he's very close to evil, actually.
So, genocide is your option.
That was the initial goal.
Perfect. I'm gonna put that conversation on hold for a quick second. Alec,
Mm.
you've lived here for 27 seasons. What do you do? The conversation, that was the worst question.
I'm a blacksmith.
A blacksmith.
Hmm.
Guys, he's a blacksmith. Alec, you have a lot of family here?
Yes, lots of family.
Family. What of the Sky Raiders?
The who?
Get a name off of what they were? I'm just trying to. I'm
you,
just
you
saying.
knew the Wyvern Riders,
Yeah,
the ones
the
that rode the
Wyvern.
Wyverns.
Yeah. Alec, do you know of the Wyvern Riders?
We don't have any Wyvern Riders here.
This city has nothing to do with any of this. By the way, genocide is not an option here. None of these people deserve it.
Party members, give me an insight check.
Oh,
Against
Not
who?
on Aurelius.
okay. Well,
Mm. Insight.
Insight against Aurelius.
God.
19.
Okay.
Gordon,
Not 20?
for a total of
21.
14.
26.
23.
It's like Roger comes back with 30,000.
47. What?
How? How?
You only a
The
D3?
dice don't even go that high. What are you doing?
Don't ask
I'm
I
really-
have a feat that lets me roll 2d20s and add them together. That's all.
Yeah.
It's open-ended
Double
dice.
advantage.
Don't ask questions.
Oh no, lots of them.
Actually, I really did jump the gun on that. It's saying that he didn't
Aurelius,
know, but
yeah, Aurelius just told you that they're not involved with what happened.
maybe Alec isn't at least. But I don't think the whole town is at least.
Well, actually, Aurelius,
Hmm.
what he said was, we have no Wyvern Riders.
Ask him if he knows if
So
any.
there are Wyvern Riders. Sorry, go ahead, Esther.
Ask him if he knows of any other settlements that may have Wyvern Riders that may attack passing vessels.
Um, look, who does have the Wyvern Riders? Who would be the, I guess, just who has the Wyvern Riders?
The communication goes quiet.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 1 out of 4. Sus. Let's.
Are you still close enough to the gate to see the entrance to it?
Me? I went back to the group, but if need be, I. What is?
Nope. The
Nope,
question was,
I went
did
back to
you
the group. I wouldn't be.
Okay.
I wouldn't be close enough unless I could be
did the
by
group
the group.
did the group move forward, or are you guys still standing where you were originally?
We all moved in that direction, as far as I know.
Okay, so you all moved in that direction. How close are you all to the gates?
Roderick is probably up a tree again.
Why didn't you just make it to Tabaxi next time?
I mean,
okay.
technically, he kind of is, given his wild hunt shifter.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say you're close enough to the gate. You watch as the gates are opened, and you see someone escorted out and then tossed down. At first, you thought it was someone, but then you realized there's a small ball that goes about that big around that goes rolling out with the body. It doesn't take you very long to realize it's the head.
Was it one of the people that was at the gate?
You don't know because you're far enough away that you could see them, and then you move back, so you don't know.
Okay. Well, fun note, they just threw a body out with its head detached.
Fantastic. The connection, was it a forced shut, or was it? Can I tell if it was by choice or if it was something that was forced disconnect?
You don't know.
Oh, I want to go look at it so bad.
It's like when the cell phone hangs up. Sometimes you never know who hung up the phone. It just disconnected.
Why do you want to look at it? It's a severed head.
Maybe that's what he's into. Don't judge him.
We need to borrow it for something.
Listen, I have
Nothing.
a type. Leave me alone. No, I'm kidding. Joking. Real big.
Did you say you have a type? Severed head is a type?
Disconnection. Alec, who I was just talking with, disconnected. Now here's the thing. It can be cut at any time. By choice. But if that is Alec, there is a very large chance that there's some reason, or either he was talking out loud about it as well as talking inside his mind, but this could end badly. Either way. I can easily go and take a look really quick.
We can also just easily go the hell back to the ship and continue on our way.
I'm leaning more towards that option, seeing this operation.
Really, you should just keep chanting Wyvern Riders, Wyvern Riders, Wyvern Riders, and see what else they throw out.
Yes, let's just get innocent people killed.
Are they innocent? Do we know that?
They've killed people, we've killed people. What is innocent, really?
I've
think
worn
you
the
proved
blood
my
of my
point.
enemies as makeup. I mean, they've worn the blood of their enemies as makeup. What, really?
Exactly.
From my height up the tree, is there anything in there at first glance that might potentially look explosive?
They're a red barrel.
Right?
With an X on it?
Yeah.
It's just a pile of them up on like some sort of like cool bridge.
Yeah.
In a tree.
Or hanging from a seal. Yeah, hanging from
All
a
around
tree.
the base of one of the like main pivotal trees.
That keeps everything up,
Absolutely,
you know.
Yeah.
Just want to blow something
Oddly
up.
enough, you know what? Give me a perception check.
Okay. 23.
No, there's not.
Okay.
Oh. Imagine that.
Fair.
Actually,
There's a tree there.
give me a nature check.
While this is going on,
I am
Yeah.
still shifted, so dirty 20.
You remember seeing earlier that stone slab, and that he was sprinkling something on that stone slab,
Mm-hmm.
and then wiping it into the stone slab, and then wiping it off.
Yep.
That might be something useful.
Something that might potentially react badly to Alchemist's fire.
Possibly.
It's a rock.
How far away is it from my current
Powder.
position?
Oh yeah, you're not arming it over there, buddy.
That's fair.
I mean, we got a familiar.
Look,
I
We
have
do
a
have a
shot
familiar
with
that's a
bow and
bird.
arrow.
We have a familiar that's a bird
Oh no.
that can airdrop it.
She's not volunteering the bird for this.
I know.
So
you
if
have
that
a
is
snake that could coil it in there.
It's a firebird. It'll be fine.
A firebird. It's not a firebird.
It
Also
will
circus
be.
trained.
So with that nature
This
check,
is
do I
not circus
know
trained.
what kind of rock this is that might potentially be explosive?
Oh no, not the stone slab.
The powder.
Oh, the
The
powder.
powder.
Okay.
I mean, really, you can get that with flour if you get the right conditions.
True.
Steve.
I mean, that's what I was thinking too, honestly.
Is it has to make particulates in the air, then they can combust. Yes, that is
Yep.
correct. So
Gotta have
Roderick,
that
being the
time.
weirdo that he is, would know this.
I'm just gonna say, as somebody that has the telepathic connections, I don't think this is the place that we should be after. If he was just a blacksmith, that's just an innocent I got killed because I telepathically connected with him.
Then they're idiots that killed their blacksmith.
Because of an unknown connection.
Is this being said over the telepathic connection or out loud?
Either they have ways to realize that the telepathic connection has been made with somebody that is an unknown and something that they have not have happened before, but just as easily as talking inside their brain, they can also talk out loud.
Well, I mean,
Sarah.
between the two characters.
Sarah, Sarah's asking if that conversation is happening externally or internally.
It would be internally. Or no, that what he just said?
Yes, what
No, that would be out
Rose was
loud.
just saying.
No, that would be
Okay.
out loud.
Okay, she's like, I'm just gonna send the bird over. I'm just gonna go a little blank for a while. I'll see if there's any kind of ruckus going on there. I would imagine if someone just got decapitated for talking out loud, there might be something else going on, or, people might be a little unsettled, unless
Okay.
decapitations happen on a daily basis. And it's like, oh, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it's time for
Gotta
the
take-
3 o'clock decapitation.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, honestly, if we're gonna scientific this, you should talk to another one and see what happens.
She just goes blank and sends the bird over to kind of like
no,
maybe
wait.
find like somewhere and kind of perch and look like a dope.
Look like a tawny frogmouth. All right. Yeah, sure enough, you land him on a branch, or he lands on a branch, and you can see that there is a rather large human who is marching back and forth. You can see a small block that has been laid there. Recently, it's still fresh with a little bit of blood on it. You see several people wearing guards uniforms, or wearing a uniform of type, I should say, who are standing around, and you can see a woman and a young child, I'd say probably about 7 or 8. She is sobbing inconsolably. The child just looks baffled.
She reports all of this back. and then probably tells the bird to stay there, but disconnects from the bird. It's like,
Okay.
let's just. What are we planning to accomplish here? Bottom line. Getting more people killed? Needlessly?
No, the intention was to make sure that we weren't getting attacked on our way back. That was the intention. That is why we are here. Yes,
Don't
I
we have
understand.
a way to get back, like a teleportation? Do we even need to come back this way?
Teleportation
Can't we go
can only
around?
take so many people. I can't take the crew in the airship as well. I can get us out, and that's it, and then we leave them stranded wherever it is that we're at. And I don't know about you, but I don't really sit well with that, which means either a clear passage out, or we take our chances coming back.
They don't have to go by this island. They can go around it. That's the magic of air travel.
We were
They don't have to
going
travel in
around
a
it.
straight line.
We weren't anywhere close to this island, and we still got attacked.
Yeah, we weren't anywhere close to this island, so we'd even know that it was this island.
We followed the wyvern back.
Maybe they were just finding the closest island to crash on. The guy just said he doesn't know anything about wyverns.
Maybe they don't know them as wyverns. Hold, please.
Whatever this is. Someone's father, someone's husband just got killed, so
There's someone moving.
let's
the
figure
body.
this out and be on our way. This isn't even what we're supposed to be out here for to begin with.
Hey, Cap, is that by where he's at right now?
You can see them out on the road where the body was tossed.
Okay. Aurelius, there's about a trio of 5-foot tall humanoids in what appears to be forest camouflage now trying to move the body.
Forest camouflage.
Can you see them, or do I need to point them out to you?
I'll turn and look. Can I see
You
them?
look towards the road and you can. They move quickly and you almost miss them. You can see as they're dragging the last of the body into the underbrush. And like I said, they're probably about 5 feet tall, so they kind of look like adolescents, but they're wearing like a mix of foliage tied into like sackcloth kind of material. So it gives them this. If they were to lay still in the underbrush, you wouldn't see them. They look stocky of build, muscular, not lean like the rest of the jungle folk that you've seen here.
What are the guards doing?
The guards are doing their best to not pay attention.
How interesting.
You've seen someone who is actively not looking at somebody else. You know, like when we all pull up to the stoplight and there's the guy over here on the right-hand side. You just actively try not to look at him. Don't act like I'm the only one.
So they're taking this body into the underbrush to, like, away from us?
Yes, away from you into the underbrush.
Do something about it, Roderick?
I can do something to distract the guard at the gate so we can potentially get by.
What, into the city? Into the
No,
town?
after them. We have to cross his path to get to the other side of the path.
I could send something out instead. A bestial spirit of sorts to distract instead. So you don't have to be the one that's in the way of it.
In the way of what?
In the way of the guards. Were you planning... Don't commit genocide. These people are just people. They're scared of something, obviously, to kill one of their own so quickly. We don't even. The group is torn as it is, Roderick. Do we stay? Do we go? It's. The wyverns have attacked something in the sky. Perhaps they thought we had something that they could use and or need. They're probably scavengers.
Do we know this person wasn't just a sacrifice to whatever perhaps
A
they think the wyverns
chickpea.
is gods?
Tuesday Bulba?
Stars can't do it.
Not aligned.
Aligned.
Both?
Both is good.
Both. Both is good. I actually saw that it's on Hulu. I need to give that another watch. You gave me loaded dice?
Honestly, I thought this would be a smaller operation than this. Were this just a bandit camp with wyverns, I would be poisoning water supplies. I'd be slitting throats while they slept, the whole 9 yards.
But these people are not those people.
That we know of. But this is a bigger thing than the 6 of us can deal with alone. Practically, it wouldn't be wise for us to go after them anyway.
If the largest worry is us trying to come back and them attacking again, we've dealt with them once, we can deal with them again. Nobody died last time. The worst thing that happened was the blimp came down. The airship came down. And even then, we were able to slow the descent. There was damages, maybe to some egos, if anything, but we dealt with them once, we can deal with them again. Deal with them again. I'm not connecting to another person. I'm not talking to another person if it's just going to get them killed.
Well, as long as they don't jam the guns again, that should help. I say we head back to the ship and get going. This is larger than we thought.
It was
Larger
an
than I
easy.
thought, I should say.
It would be easier if we could be diplomatic in their language. We cannot.
Well, part of the language.
Mo-
in effect.
Molly, are you having an issue there? She wanted to. She wanted to say something so bad, but the internet was like,
No, fam, not today.
Can't do it.
Now you're back.
Stars on a line.
Not
"Stars
aligned.
on a line." Molly, did you want to say something?
How far away is the body?
It's being dragged away.
It's being dragged into the underbrush about 70 feet away from you.
Besides, I did get a fancy new poison out of this.
Can I approach them cautiously?
The
slowly?
guards at the gate?
The body.
The body's being dragged into the underbrush.
Like,
And
we have to
I'm
go
also
in.
stopping
You
that
have
the
to
moment you move.
Cross in front of the guards.
Yeah, we'd have to get in line of sight of the gate guards that are there to get to the other place.
To answer your question with a solid, yeah, you could. Absolutely.
That should be seen.
But you would be seen by the guards.
I'm gonna put on my cutest flower crown and be the most innocent. It's white, little daisies.
I want to stop her.
Then do it.
Yeah, I'm stopping her. I'm sorry. Jesse, you're going to get yourself killed.
Do we need a distraction?
This isn't a distraction. This is just something to make me feel a little better.
Jesse, do you need a distraction to get over there? Because I can provide a distraction. I'm very good at
I
distractions.
mean, if you'd like to distract them, sure.
Sleep.
I can't be put to sleep at magical means.
I mean, if this was Satiel as the wizard here, maybe you have this
Sleep.
explodey pants. Sleep. Boom. There goes the gate.
Are you sleeping
Permanent.
with us or are you
Just
sleeping?
checking your spell.
If they're dead, they are asleep, but permanently.
How fast can you all run?
No, they took 9 quill. It's fine. I posted it in.
Look, there
Monday
can't be
chat.
any guards to see you if there's no guards left.
I would
Isn't it
prefer
still
that
a
we do
stealth
this
mission
without
if
killing
there's
anyone.
nobody left to tell about it?
You guys run?
How fast can you guys run is never a good thing to hear.
Probably faster than most, if not all of you. Why?
Okay, so you guys want to get the guys with the bodies, right? That's what I'm hearing.
I just
I'm
want.
fine with leaving.
Yeah, I would
At this
much prefer
point.
just to get out of here.
I can run 80 feet if it counts as first round of combat.
Mm.
Even more than that if needed.
This coughing, sneezing, sleep forever.
I'm going to make a controlled explosion that'll block their view.
You can't cast delayed blast fireball.
No, wall of fire. It's opaque.
Jesus, is it ever? Because it's
I feel like
fire.
they're not gonna like me very much if I approach them.
Are you
And then
going
the
No, no.
firewall?
No, sorry. Esther is talking about wrong character. Esther is talking
Zora
about. Somebody check on her. I don't think she's okay. So Esther's talking about doing a firewall in front of the guards, so you can cross over to talk to the figures that are dragging the body into the forest.
Okay, I just hope that they don't think that I did that.
I'm holding onto her. I'm just saying.
This is for me. And I'll be right back once it's done. You can distract them, you don't have to.
But what are you doing? I understand it's for you, but what are you doing?
Something to make this feel to make this a little more right. Because
How?
Are you going to put the flower crown on the decapitated head?
Jesse, this
we
wasn't
don't have
your
to. No,
fault.
it's okay. We don't have to.
Jesse, this wasn't your fault. This is on me. It's my fault.
Honestly,
that
if you want
he's
to
dead.
blame anyone, you can blame me. I pushed us in this direction.
Jesse, this isn't your fault.
Here
I
in the
know it's not
jungle,
my fault.
far from home, far from their boat, they argue about who to lay blame on.
But
Esther's not arguing. I didn't want to come here to begin with, so it's not my fault.
So it's just like, you can't blame me. I'm not a part of
But I say we go.
Somebody says it's all my fault. Esther's like, yeah, it totally is. It
I
totally
will
is.
take the blame for this. I
If
understand.
this was a smaller operation, I would, yes, be essentially committing genocide. But
Are you going back the way you came from?
He
What did you?
knows the way exactly, but
No. Are you going back the way you came from?
I mean, by the cliff side.
By the
Ah.
cliffside.
I do want to know what Jesse wanted to do. I want to ask what Jesse wanted to do to try and make it better. Because I know she wants to try and make it better, but the thing is if she goes out there on her own, she's probably going to get herself hurt or injured. That's the same thing twice, but two different words. One was just fancier.
Maybe try the bird to distract them. I mean, not as much fun as the wall of
We
fire.
don't have to do it. We can just go.
Do we want to find out why these people are dragging a dead body into the underbush?
Not
Yes.
really.
I heard a yes and a not really at the same time.
Quiet is like, fuck it. Calls the bird back, has the bird just kind of flapping around the guard gates.
The guards start to shoo at it and things like that. And then you can see as they're now fully distracted from the pathway as they're doing that.
fine.
Let's go.
All of you crossing across the road. Is that right? Because she's like, fuck that noise. How do you say fuck no?
In Infernal.
In Infernal.
It's just
Because
screeching.
it's probably the harshest way to say it.
So is Kiseshi staying on that side then?
Yes. Matter of fact, Kiseshi's probably going to start working her way back to the boat. Because,
Is Kiseshi going to crawl out on the rock again?
no!
How are you gonna get back?
Going back down around the bottom of the volcano.
You gonna swim to the other side?
No, there was another pathway on the forest edge.
You had to walk
following-
like all the way
you're going to go
around.
around the base of the volcano as
Yes.
opposed to going across it. Okay, got you. Sorry, my misunderstanding. When you said down to the base of the volcano, I thought you meant go back through the abandoned dwarven stronghold.
Nope.
Okay,
Because then I gotta swim. And
that's
nobody
why I was
wants that.
like, "There's no other way over out of there."
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants to see that. Okay, who all's crossing the road? Esther.
Cross last, just to kind of make sure
Okay.
that the birds got the guys
Okay,
completely
Gordon.
distracted.
Gotcha. Gordon's going. Okay. I see Q's already nodding head. So, all right.
Roderick would try to sneak across.
Roderick's going
Time
to sneak
like a
across.
turn around, like when he's turning around to swat at the bird, he just across the path.
Okay. Roderick sneaking across. And then I guess Jesse, are you sneaking across as well?
Sure.
Okay. Your party takes off, leaving you there. As you cross over into the road, you look for the figures that were dragging the body. I need... we'll do passive perception. Oh, you're actively looking. Nope, that's an active look. Perception checks from everyone, please, with the exception, of course, of Kiseshi.
With my natural explorer, we're in my preferred terrain, so because we're looking for something that's in it, would I get advantage? I don't know why your proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills when you make an intelligent or wisdom check. No, that's wisdom related. No, wisdom check related.
It would be.
Okay, so
you double your proficiency bonus.
okay, cool.
So roll what you have normally, but just add your proficiency again. Gordon, how'd you do? Gordon's doing wonderfully. Esther?
22.
Oh,
Roderick?
26.
Okay.
I was one shy of a natural 20
Jesse?
because advantage.
17.
Okay.
I got a nat 20.
Well, aren't you all special?
So 28,
We just all of it balances out. And we just grab.
35.
Okay.
35? Damn.
6, then proficiency 4, so I double my proficiency, which is 8, 28. No, 34. Do I know how to math?
Do
Yeah.
that math again
26.
on the die.
Yeah, 20 on the die.
Okay.
6 for perception, and then 8 with my proficiency. Because you said
No,
proficiency doubled or just proficiency added?
Add your
Proficiency added.
proficiency.
So
Add
32.
your proficiency again. 32.
No.
Okay. A natural
Are you-
20. Natural
30.
20.
30? I can math. I promise.
Okay.
I can
Your perception already has it figured with your
Yes.
proficiency, so just add your proficiency again.
Okay, that makes more sense because I'm stupid sometimes. 30? We got
Okay.
it. Ugh.
I was about to say, that's damn high. Jeez.
Yeah, sorry, folks.
I'm so sorry.
This week's math lesson brought to you by Diaper.
We're learning additions today.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
Well,
You know better than to look for the things in the forest and look for the things that stand out, that don't belong. And doing so, you're able to pinpoint about 5 of these irregular looking foliage pieces. As you draw near, you see a matted beard on each one of them's face, a broad brow with almost a unibrow looking thing. Their arms are thick with muscles knotted. Bared chest shows hirsute individuals, and they carry this body, lifting it off the ground as though they're holding it almost in a reverent sort of way. any of you stealthing whatsoever, please give me a stealth check.
28.
28.
19.
Okay.
18.
13.
Jesse?
I'm approaching them.
Oh, you're not even stealthy. You're just like, hey, what's up, homies?
If Esther's
You gonna use all that?
going towards them,
You gonna
she'll
eat that?
follow.
You gonna eat that? I'm staying stealth, but I'm like ready to take a shot if need be.
I like how you look visibly nervous about this right now. like Q looks visibly nervous about this.
She's gonna die.
You approach.
Esther's falling, but behind her back, she might have a fireball ready.
She's
Okay.
working her fingers into a fireball.
I feel a little bit better about it now.
You see, she's working that ball of guano into like the perfect round shape in my hand.
This is one thing I do well. I can throw bat shit.
What do you mean working? She has she probably has it down to an industrialized process.
She has them in she has like you know how you can preform the lead balls
of bat shit.
So is Esther technically batshit crazy?
God bless. She's a fun time.
No, literally, yeah, because she likes throwing fireballs.
I was gonna say she has one of the preformers that you use for lead to make them into musket balls, but it's just like it just has traces of bat guano and sulfur in it.
It's like those snowball shapers, like each one is the shape of a rubber ducky.
It looks like you're making bath bombs out of them.
I'm sorry, I just need explosions in the shape of ducks going, hi.
Oh my god, legit, I know somebody who has a fear of rubber ducks, and so like
I'm sorry, just fireballs in the shape of ducks now. That's in my head.
That's the new firework.
Yeah, honestly, that sounds absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So Sarah, get on that.
There you go. All right. You approach them and you just say hello. Do you say anything? You say you're gonna eat that literally? What do you say, Jesse?
I'm gonna be silent for a moment. But I want to reach into my bag and pull out. They're like I have like my like potion ingredients, and I think some of them are like herbs and different flowers and stuff like that. So I want to pull out like some flowers and walk over to them, and then place the flowers down beside them.
The four carrying the body set it down gently. They turn and look at you, and you watch as they lift like these half masks up, and you can see the rest of their faces. Again, you can see that they had the broad brow, the mask covering like right here, as they lift them up. They have intelligent eyes of greens and browns. Some are blue. They have old-looking countenances. Their faces look like they're aged, but they don't show signs of old age. Does that make sense? They don't speak at you. They just kind of look down, and you had a 13, Esther. The rest of you had pretty high, if I'm not mistaken.
Esther's just actively following behind her now, just kind of like...
There's an unmistakable sound that if she were with you, Kiseshi could identify it immediately. And it's the sound of metal leaving leather. And you see a sword drawn. And someone says something in a language that you're unfamiliar with.
Can Esther try and say, like, just in like a couple different dialects of giant, if she knows them, we mean no harm?
Sure.
She's gonna just say that in a couple different dialects very slowly, very clearly, and kind of hold her hands out, like showing they're empty.
You try it in a few dialects, and they don't seem to respond to it as well. They don't attack you, but you see that it's not all four of them. There seems to be one that's sort of moved out of the woods a little bit and made himself more noticeable. Like he had a higher stealth check than the rest of them. And you can see that he's carrying. It's a long sword, so to speak, but it has kind of an odd shape to it. But he's carrying it out in front of him, and as he holds it out, he barks. He kind of like gives you that command again, and it's a rough, deeper grovel voice.
Can I try and just say something in like both halfling and gnomish to see if they sort of respond to either of those?
Halfling doesn't get anything. Gnomish seems to. He kind of tilts his head like he's trying to understand.
Aya connection again.
Steve, remind me,
Mm-hmm.
what languages do you speak again?
Common, gnomish, undercommon.
Okay. You want to try to mind link again?
Yep.
How often can you do that?
It actually doesn't state how often I can do it. I know we talked about this last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it'd be a little OP if you could use it just as often as you want to.
Yeah,
I thought we said short or long rest.
okay. Because I know there's ways that it can like get fucked up because of like the dice I have to
Well,
roll.
like I know that you have a dice, and like Bardic Inspiration, you can use Bardic Inspiration for as many times as you have, Bardic Inspirations left.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's tied to the amount of dice that you have in the recharge on that pool.
Yeah. You harbor
Kinda like
wellspring of psionic
Channel
power.
Divinity kind of thing.
An energy ebbs flows to channel in various ways. The power is represented by your psionic talent dice. The starting dice is a d6. And then it says you can use your psionic dice in the following ways, and then it's just like psi bolstered neck, and then psychic whispers.
So basically, what it's saying is that whatever the usage on that die is.
Yep. Starting size is a d6. Changing the dice size. There's the replenishment as a bonus action. You can calm your mind for a moment to restore my dice to its starting size. And then I can't use the replenishment again until I finish a long rest. That's the only thing that has like that limit. Because I know if I roll a 6, my dice goes from a d6 to a d4. But if I roll a 1, my d4 goes from the d4 to the d6, and then it goes higher and higher and higher from there up until a d12. Soul Knife is weird. A little, I'm noticing.
Well, I mean, that's why it's playtesting.
Yep.
I mean, it's no card slinger.
Not much can
I'll never do that to you again.
No, I'll never let myself do that again. Because that's on me. You're playing the character the way that they had it written. It was just me not reading ahead to realize, oh, you do 3d10 every time you throw that? That's gross. Okay. Yeah, sure. You can do it.
I rolled a 5 last time, so it's still technically a d6. I rolled a 1, so I can connect with one of them.
Connect with the big guy!
Yeah. The one that came forward, with the weird blade, that seemed to kind of understand one of the languages a little bit. I will connect with him. I'll even step out so like I can as well from my hiding spot. Yeah. We mean no harm.
You say that in his head?
Yeah. Actually, sorry. I hate to intrude. It's not polite to just go into mines, and I understand that. But it's the only way you'll understand us. The only way you'll understand me.
He says something to the others in their language, and then quickly draws back his weapon and stabs Jesse. And that's where we're going to leave this evening's episode. Gutted in the middle of the forest. Don't worry, it's not enough to kill you. It's not one hit. It's not, or at least maybe it won't be. We'll know. And the rest of you will have to figure out what happens next week. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back next Monday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time, with all of these wonderful people. Where's Kaseshi going to go on her own? Out into the woods. Is the rest of the party going to be okay? Did the blood-curdling scream that Jesse let out, I'm sure, when stabbed in the stomach, reach Kaseshi's ears, or did it alert the guards, or both of the above? A huge thanks, first of all, to Jesse, played by Molly. Molly, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you and the flowers, and we wonder if it is. Now, I know that not next week, but the week after that, you're going to be in the midst of some big changes. So we will say it again next week. We want to wish you luck and let us know if there's anything we can do to help. A huge thanks to Eric, who is playing Roderick this evening. Eric is my local attendee. We are based out of Huntsville. Well, actually, we're based globally, but I'm in Huntsville, and Eric is one of my players and one of our primary supporters. So thank you for all that you do for us. Steve, who is a motivational pun master extraordinaire. If you're in there and you see Fun Conscious, that's Steve, and he keeps our chat going. So huge thanks to Steve, who is playing as Gordon, the largest gnomish barbarian ever. Our social media person is Q, who's playing Aurelius. Yes, I know earlier I made a mistake, our ranger. So huge thanks to all that Q does for us and for being here. Sarah was playing Esther, the batshit loving individual. I won't call her crazy.
It's fair. She's a wizard.
You can see Sarah and Eric tomorrow on Valley by Night, the Vampire the Masquerade game. So make sure to tune in. And they're in some other games throughout the week. No, you're not. Just this one, that one. What's that?
Becca, who's playing tomorrow's in games the rest of the week.
Yes, that's right. So tune in to see that. Valley by Night, Vampire the Masquerade, being run by a good friend of mine, Jason, who also is part of the Nerd Eternal Network. I can't say that. And I'm never going to forget to thank our production manager and our host for this evening, Maddie, who is playing as Hiseshi, who may be the only sane one to make it out alive. We don't know yet. We'll see what happens. Don't forget, on tomorrow we have Valley by Night. Wednesday, Q is running Monster of the Week. And then on Thursdays, we have Maddie, who is running Descent into Avernus. Tune in for all of our shows. We would love it if you would support us, even if it's just giving us a follow on Twitter and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It is Dire Bear Adventuring Company, so YouTube/Dire Bear Adventuring Company. You can check out all of our previous videos as well as other stuff. If you do subscribe to our Patreon, we do have our Session 0 for Valley by Night for Patreon members at the $10 tier. So please go check that out if you'd like to. It's really good stuff. With that being said, we'll be back next week. I am your DM, Heath. You can find me here in Huntsville, Alabama. I work for Lucky Dice Cafe on Fridays. Not for, but at Lucky Dice Cafe on Fridays, where we run Adventure Night. Every Friday, it's a different adventure. This week is Mutants and Masterminds, Superpowered Combat. And then Saturday, we play D&D over at Liquor Express. We run 2 tables, 2 sessions. Come by, get drinks, get food, hang out. They've got like 150 million beers on tap. No, it's not that much. It's like 100 and something, though. Different beers on tap, and they're all great. I personally love a cider called Stupid Man Soup. It's fantastic. So you should try it out. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you all next week. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you, one and all. Good night, guys.